Hello, John here with a 16 by 8 layout. I am going to do a video on, actually it's a video series on making ground cover from sawdust. So basically what we're going to be making, I'm going to walk in the other room and I'll show you what we're going to be making. This kind of material, stuff that's on the hill, right there. That's what we're going to be working on today. This is going to be, I believe, about a 3-part series. So, here's what we're going to try to accomplish. This is some stuff I've made probably about a year and a half ago. I haven't made any in a while. Some dark green. I use this stuff for doing my trees that you've seen my pine tree videos. This I use for grass or weeds, whatever you want to use it for. You can cover some trees with that, light trees. And then I store them. Here's some more of it. This thing was full when I started a couple years ago. This is just a old starch can. And this is the dark green that I made. I got a bunch of that. And that's just using an old Woodland Scenics bottle. Basically, here's what I start out with. This is a meat grinder. My friends got my bench. It's a portable bench. I used to grind it. Otherwise, I would have ground some and showed it to you. How does I grind it? But it's pretty self-explanatory. Just pour the stuff in the top. Grind it. Comes out here. You have a little bucket sitting underneath it to catch it. Then when you're done, it looks like this. This is some stuff I pre-ground right before we moved into our house. I don't have any other raw stuff because usually when I get the stuff, it's even coarser. It's very coarse because I go to the local sawmill we have over here that does cabinets, and they'll give me big, huge bags of it if I want, or just take a 5-gallon pail full of it. So, and then I grind it into this. You can see there's a couple of tiny big chunks in there, or some big long strands of it, but that's okay. Before you go ahead and make your paint mix, you have to find some paint. And here's some colors I used from Pittsburgh brand. I get it at a local hardware store called Menards here. And you can get this in any color, I mean any brand. This is my favorite for the grass. Sometimes I'll tint it just a little bit tiny, a little darker than that. You can kind of see it. These are sample jars, by the way. They're only like $3. At least they were then. Who knows now? Everything seems to have gone up in construction. I got a couple colors. Actually, I probably have about, I don't know, 20, 25 colors of this stuff in various forms for making swamps, grass, bushes, whatever. Then what I will do is I will take this fine ground stuff, which I'm going to show you in the next video, but I'm just going to tell you right now. I would sift it. This actually has been sifted some, but I'd sift it one more time into this type of a container, little Tupperware type container of any kind, whatever you want. And this is also the container I use to catch the stuff out of the grinder right here. And then I just use a strainer. You can buy these at any cooking store. It's just a noodle strainer. Then I got a little bucket I use. I got about quite a few of these. You can use anything again to mix the paint and sawdust together. So what I would be doing then at that next stage is I would take some of this, put about an inch in the bottom, maybe an inch and a half, and then I'd fill the rest with, I'd say almost half of the remaining part with water, and then my color of paint that I choose. You don't need as much paint as you would think, because once the water is colored, it soaks into the wood shavings very fast. You don't want it thick like paste at all. You don't want a consistency of the paint. It needs to be watery like Kool-Aid. And I will show you what it's like when I go to do that on one of the next video. I just wanted to tell you that. And then what I would do after I'm done with that part of it is I would take the stuff out of the bucket after it sits for about 10 minutes soaking, maybe longer if you want. If you're worried about it, just let it sit for 30 minutes. It doesn't matter, because if it even dries, it still doesn't matter. You would take it out with your hand or wearing a glove, and you just kind of clump it up. It's going to just look like a nasty paste. And you're going to think, well, what have I created here? It's really a mess. But trust me, you put it on newspaper overnight, go down, it'll still look like a clump in the morning, but then you'll break it up, it'll break up and look like this. It'll be like this. And sometimes it might take 2 days, depending on how humid your area is. It's hard to say. I've had it both ways. So then, after you're done with, once it's dried, you kind of put it in a container like this, broken up, or if you want it ultra fine, run it through one of these things again. Once it's painted, soaked. The paint is soaked and it's dried. Then it gets finer. The more times you run it through, the finer it gets. It'll get so fine it'll turn into just dust. But that's kind of, I like it to have a little texture, so the ground looks kind of rough and coarse. And same thing for the trees. This stuff here, I did run this through the grinder. This stuff I did not after the initial time of making the sawdust. This amount here of sawdust, and it's one of these 1 gallon bags, this amount that's in here would make probably two and a half of these big barrel jugs full, or 5, 6 of these. It goes a long ways, and when you're sprinkling this stuff around, you always put more on than you need. And I sweep it off or vacuum it off and save it for the next time. So anyways, that's what I got. And I will do the next video. It'll show me mixing it, and you'll be able to see that mixing, and then me setting it on something to dry overnight. And then there might be a third one showing me applying it onto something right after it's dry. So just stay tuned and send me a comment if you want, or ask me any questions you want. If you feel I didn't cover something, let me know, because I probably did miss something. I've done this so many times that I forget to tell people certain parts of it, but it is super, super, super easy. The only expense is really buying the sample paint, and if you have to buy a grinder. Just a note, this grinder here, I bought it on eBay, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, and I think it was, I'm guessing it was like $25, 20 or 25, maybe 29. I don't remember, but something like that. And it just comes all apart. You can clean it. I've left, you can see I kind of left the stuff in there from the last time I used it, but it works super well. But it is laborious. Let me tell you, it is laborious. It seems like a time waster, but the end deal is you come out with some nice product in the exact colors you want, and it saves you some money. But I don't know, maybe the time you spent doing it isn't worth the money savings, but I like to do it. So anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.